Good morning, third graders. Today we're looking at a new chapter, chapter 26, lesson 1. If you're following along in your hard books, you should be on page 560. This is for Wednesday's math lesson of April 29th. So today's objective is model division of 3-digit numbers. And the question they're posing to us is, how can you use base 10 blocks to divide 3-digit numbers? Well, you don't have the base 10 blocks at home, but we showed you examples last week when you divided with 2 digits of how you can draw out the base 10 blocks. But I'm going to show you some examples of today of how you can draw out 3-digit base 10 blocks. And the question they're giving us is, Gina spent 2 days taking pictures of whales. She took 254 photos. If Gina took an equal number of photos each day, how many photos did she take each day? Well, they gave us the division problem of 254 divided by 2. So you can just divide that number, but if you're looking to use a strategy of base 10 blocks, let's go ahead and look at how they did that. It says use base 10 blocks to show 254. She has the 2 100s, the 5 10s, and the 4 1s. She's starting to divide them into 2 equal groups. Step 3 says divide the 10 blocks into 2 equal groups. There are 2 10s in each group and there's 1 left over. So like last week when I showed you when you have leftover 10s, you have to break that up. So you see in step 4 says regroup the 1 leftover 10 as 10 ones. So they broke down that 1 tens bar into now 10 ones, so now there's 14 ones. And then for step 5, they divided those 14 ones into the 2 equal groups. What they did down here for step 6 was they actually showed you a drawing example. So if you're drawing this at home, this would be a great step to look at in your book, that they drew out the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. And you'd see in each group, they have a total of 127 photos. So you have the ones, 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if you divided the number 254 divided by 2, you'd get 127, just as they showed you in this block. I'm going to go ahead and show you an example. I'm going to use one of the problems in our book. We have the number I'm going to do number 1 of 366 divided by 3. So I'm going to show this to you in a division problem as well as with base 10 blocks. So if I'm going to draw 366 in base 10 blocks, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3 for my hundreds, and I have 6 tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, with 6 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I draw out and separate my base 10 blocks according to 3 equal groups, I would get 122 in each group. So after I divide this, my quotient should turn out to be 122, just as I broke down the base 10 blocks. So let's look at the division problem. 3 divides into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. You get the 0 after you subtract. Now you can't just be done here. You have to bring down the next number, which would be 6. 3 divides into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. I can't just be done there. I still have one more number. I have to bring that 6 all the way down. Sorry, I didn't subtract that. And bring my 6 down. I have 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times again. And then I need to subtract out, and I would get 0 with no remainder. So whether you divide 366, you'd get 122. Whether you decided to use the base 10 block method, which is taking the number 366, drawing out 3 equal groups, you'd get, again, 122. We want to show you both strategies again so that you can use whatever one you're more comfortable using. You can also use the base 10 block strategy to check your work. So you can do the division problem and maybe you're unsure if you're right. You can use the base 10 block, you can check your work, or you can use the multiplication method to check your work, which would be 122 times 3. And you'd say 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 1 is 3. And those numbers, again, should match up. So there's a couple different ways that you can check your work and check your answers. We're going to go ahead and watch a Math Antics video. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Hold on. There we go.
Hi, welcome to Math Antics. In this lesson, we're going to learn about long division. If you haven't already watched our video about basic division, then be sure to go back and watch that first. It'll make learning long division a lot easier. Long division is just a way of breaking up a bigger division problem into a series of short division steps like the ones that we did in the basic division video. The nice thing about long division is that once you know the procedure, you can divide up all kinds of numbers, even if they're really big. The key to long division is to think about our division problem digit by digit. If our dividend, the number we're dividing up, has a lot of digits, then that means that there'll be a lot of division steps to do. When we learned basic one-step division, all of the dividends were small enough that we could just use the multiplication table to help us find the answer. But what if we have a division problem like this? 936 divided by 4. 936 is definitely not on our multiplication table. In fact, there's not anything even close to 936. So what do? Well, instead of trying to divide the entire 936 by 4 all at once, let's break this problem up into smaller steps by just trying to divide each digit by 4, one digit at a time, digit by digit. Do you remember how with multi-digit multiplication and addition, we always start with the smallest digit, the ones place digit, and we work from right to left? Well, division is backwards. We still go digit by digit, but the other way. We start by trying to divide up the digit in the biggest number place first, and we work our way from left to right. So the first step in this problem is to divide the first digit of our dividend by 4. We'll just ignore the other digits for now. That makes it look like we have the division problem 9 divided by 4. Great, that's easy. It's just a basic division problem like in the last video. So we ask, how many 4s will it take to make 9, or almost 9? Well, 2 4s would be 8, and that's almost 9. So just like before, we put the 2 in our answer spot on top of the line. But wait a minute, there's a lot of room up there. Where exactly do we put it? Well, the answer digit should always go directly above the digit we're dividing. Since we're dividing the digit 9, our 2 should go right above the 9. Okay, now we multiply. 2 times 4 is 8, and the 8 goes below the 9 so that we can subtract to get our remainder. 9 minus 8 is 1, so our remainder is 1. Now at this point, in our basic one-step division problems, we would rewrite our remainder up in our answer with a little r next to it. But we aren't going to do that yet because this is long division and we still have more digits to divide, the ones we've been ignoring. Since we're going digit by digit, let's stop ignoring the next digit in our dividend, the 3. Now you might think that our next division step is to divide that 3 by the 4, but it's not quite that simple. We had a remainder from our last division step, and we can't just forget about that. We need to combine that remainder with our next digit and divide them both together. We do that by bringing down a copy of the next digit, the 3, and put it right beside the remainder, which is 1. When we do that, it looks like our remainder is 13. It's kind of like our remainder is teaming up with the next digit over. And if you think about it, that makes sense, because the digits that we were ignoring during our first division step really are part of the remainder because we still need to divide them. Okay, so bringing down that next digit makes our remainder bigger, and that's good because before the remainder was so small that 4 couldn't divide into it, but now it's 13 and 4 will divide into 13. So we ask, how many 4s will it take to make 13? Well, 3 4s would be 12, and that's really close without being too big, so let's put 3 in our answer line. Yep, it goes right over the 3 because that's the next digit we were dividing in this digit by digit process. And then 3 times 4 is 12, which we put right below the 13 so that we can subtract to get the next remainder, which will also be 1. See how we're just repeating the basic division procedure, but we're going further down the screen than we do. All right, now that we have a new remainder, it's time for our next division step. Let's stop ignoring the last digit in the dividend, the 6, and bring down a copy of it to team up with our new remainder. Together, they form a remainder of 16. Aha! That's good, because it's gonna be easy to divide 4 into 16, because 16 is a multiple of 4. Takes exactly 4 4s to make 16. So we put a 4 in the last place of our answer line, and then we write the 16 below our new remainder. Now, if we subtract 16 from 16, we see that our last remainder will be 0, which means there's no remainder left. That's great. We solved the whole division problem, digit by digit, by breaking it up into 3 basic division steps. And now we know that 936 divided by 4 equals 234. And we also know why they call it long division.
All right. So I wanted to show you that video as a little bit extra help. You could also pause the video. You can try to work the video with him with a piece of scratch paper. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the worksheet. There we go. So your worksheet today, homework sheet for today will look like this. It gives you the base 10 block model at the top of the worksheet. They did the first one for you. What they want you to do is they want you to put the dividend, the divisor, the quotient, and then they want you to show the division problem with the answer that you got. And we did, we'll go ahead and do 633 divided by 3 together, and then we'll input it on the chart. And then I want you to go ahead and do the rest. Want you to do the spiral review. The spiral review is just fractions. So it says, which outcome do you think is the most likely? So which one is mostly covering the fraction? Okay, so I just want you to look at the spiral review. There's only 2 and the word problem's on the back, but we'll go ahead and do number 1 together, and then I'll have you do the rest. So we're gonna do 633 divided by 3. So we're gonna do 633 divided by 3. This is your dividend, this is your divisor. We need to look at how many times can 3 go into 6. Again, anytime you need that extra help, you can get your little McDonald's saying. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers raw? Divide, multiply, subtract, check, bring down, repeat, or remainder. So we'll go ahead and do these steps. Our first step is to divide. 3 goes into 6 2 times. You can put your little multiplication sign there if it helps. 2 times 3 is 6. Next step would be to subtract it. After we subtract, we check, can 3 go into 0? Nope, and I still have more numbers to bring down, so bring down your next 3. 3 would go into 3 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3. You get a 0. And then you'd bring down your next 3. How many times would 3 go into 3? Just once again. And you would get 0. So your answer should be 211. What you would do to input that on that sheet is you would take these numbers and your quotient, which was 211, and oh, that's funny. It's 211 again. Let's go ahead and set up your problem. 3 goes into 633. And then just give your answer of 211. All right, so once you've done these problems, go ahead and you insert your quotient here, show the division problem that you set up with your answer there. When you're done, you could take a picture of it, send it to your teacher. I hope you guys have a blessed day. When you're done with this assignment, we want you to go ahead and work on IXL L6, not more than 20 minutes. It's a division section, long division section. I'll just reinforce what you've been learning today. Bye guys, have an awesome Wednesday.